group of students meet up at Christopher Eckhardt's home, located in Des Moines, planning to show their distaste of the Vietnam War publicly, deciding to wear black peace armbands throughout the holiday season, including the fast of that year, December 16, and New Year's Eve. The principals of these students' schools find out of their plans and create a policy that stated that any student wearing an armband would be asked to remove it, with refusal to do so resulting in suspension. December 16th, Mary Beth Tinker and Christopher Eckhart wore their armbands to school and got sent home. The following day, John F. Tinker does the same. The school officials thought the armbands would distract and disrupt the class.
The children received death threats and disturbing phone calls, words from Mary Beth herself. That was very hard to deal with, but there was also people that were against us. Some of them were very threatening. People threw red paint onto our house and called us communists. My mother had told them that we weren't communists, we were Methodists. A lady called me on the phone and said, "Is this Mary Beth Tinker?" And I said yes. She said, "I'm gonna kill you." I was in 8th grade. I was just walking out the door on my way to school there after Christmas.
It's simply fair that we get into detail about the cause of the whole thing. By now it's clear that this had to do with the Vietnam War, since they wore the black armbands in protest of the Vietnam War. The Vietnam War was a prolonged conflict in southern Asia where North Vietnam, which was a communist regime supported by the Soviet Union and China, fought to unify the country by taking over southern Vietnam, which was backed by the United States and other anti-communist allies. After a long, costly war, North Vietnam eventually conquered the South in 1975, unifying the country under communist rule, resulting in a major defeat for the U.S. and the significant civilian casualties of all sides. For the Tinker vs. Desmos case, which was when the war was still going on at the time, December 1695, the progress of the war was that Operation Rolling Thunder had just ended beforehand. Operation Rolling Thunder was a bombing campaign which began primarily as a diplomatic signal to impress Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. It was meant to show them America's determination and essentially a warning that the violence would only escalate. The operation was also meant to interdict the flow of supplies going south and discourage North Vietnam's aggression. The operation imposed strict limits on the targets that would be attacked. China and the Soviet Union were seen as defenders of communism who might intervene if North Vietnam were to face defeat. Consequently, the administration tried to punish North Vietnam without provoking the two nations, which were believed to be its protectors. In the view of the Air Force leadership, the campaign had no clear-cut objective, nor was there any real estimate of what the cost of the lives in aircraft would be.
The children were not allowed to return to school with their armbands, so the children stopped coming to school. It eventually became too much and the case was taken to the Supreme Court.
The court found that the First Amendment applied to public schools, and school officials could not censor student speech unless it disrupted the educational process. Since wearing a black armband was not truly disruptive, the majority of the court decreed that the First Amendment protected the rights of students to wear them. The Tinker vs. Des Moines Independent Community School District is now a frequently cited Supreme Court precedent. Thanks to the ruling, over the years, the ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union, has successfully defended the right of students to wear certain clothes, such as armbands, LGBTQ+ support clothes, and shirts critical of political figures.